What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video on high altitude investing. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the big picture analysis on Bitcoin and where I personally expect prices to head in the big picture. Over the past little while on my channel, I have been talking about the short-term moves inside of Bitcoin, talking about the crash before it happened, and today I want to talk about why in the big picture Bitcoin is going to go way higher than current prices. So without further ado, if you guys are not a subscriber to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now, as well as sharing this video with your friends and hitting the like button below. All right, so let's get straight into this. Before I actually talk about the big picture, I am going to do a small update on Bitcoin in the smaller time frames. You guys, I'm not going to give my VIP targets or calls for anything, but I will quickly run over one level that I'm possibly watching for an invalidation of any further downside in the short term. You guys, whenever you are measuring Elliott wave theory and you're measuring Fibonacci retracements and retracements inside of markets, any retracement when you're in a bull market means that it's coming back down. Any retracement in a bear market means that it's pulling back up. So that's just the general rule of thumb. But you guys, if you take from the top of the move to the bottom of the move, the 618 level and the 50% level is where algorithm traders will be automatically blindly shorting that level. And the reason that they do this is because that is the Elliott wave Fibonacci relationship to see continuation on the downside. If it actually rejects off of that 618 level, you expect further downside because the bears have taken over, the algorithms have taken over, and they expect further downside. But if you manage to get above that 618 and that 50% level, then that actually confirms that this is not a B wave structure and that the market is actually bottomed and we will see upside continuation. So I just wanted to let you guys know of that personally. That is my current trading plan in the short term. My VIP group does have exact targets for both scenarios, and I will be giving you guys a lot of detailed updates in the VIP group, especially as we get a confirmation of either a breakout or a rejection of this level. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. Okay, now that that's done with, let's go ahead and talk about the big picture inside of Bitcoin, because this is what's really important. Even though taking profits, and I took profits into US dollar tether all through this FOMO range right here in many of my coins. I mean, I was posting bearish charts on Cake, bearish charts on Binance, and all of these projects saw corrections after that mania phase where I was doing a lot of tweeting. The mania phase, meaning the mania of buyers that came into this area. I was tweeting a lot in this zone right here that we were going to see a correction. We did see that correction, you guys, and I'm not saying that it can't go down further from here, definitely not. But I am saying that in the big picture, even when I take profits on these coins, I'm not getting 100% out of the market. I still have a very, very nice position inside of the market when it comes to the actual positions inside of my portfolio. It's not like I'm taking 100% out of the market when I see FOMO. It's not like I'm taking 90%, 80% out of the market when I see FOMO. I'm just reducing risk into the US dollar. And so by doing so, that gives me a lot of opportunity, because especially if you're selling directly into a massive area of FOMO, what ends up actually happening is you're set up perfectly with almost zero risk. If you're taking profits into FOMO, it puts you in a position that you are at an advantage to everybody else inside of the market, because most everybody else was buying near the top. And the absolute worst case scenario is that you're sleeping or something happens and you miss buying the panic, and then you buy back in near or even below where you took profits. So taking profits in times of FOMO really puts you in a zero risk scenario where you're definitely ahead of everybody else in the market. You have US dollar to accumulate into the panic, and you're able to really outperform the rest of the market while everybody else is panicking. They don't know what's going to happen. You're sitting there in profit. you're sitting there with US dollars ready to compound back into your portfolio and make money. So let's talk about the big picture inside of Bitcoin here, you guys. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to add 2 charts. I'm going to remove the MACD just for simplicity here. And then we're going to go ahead and take this other Bitstamp USD chart, and we're probably going to switch to, I think it's maybe the 2-day candlesticks or the 1-day candlesticks here for the best kind of visualization. And this one, I think the 10-day candlesticks will probably work pretty good. Yeah, 10-day candlesticks will work very nicely here. So, okay, let's go over to the 2-day candlesticks here on Bitcoin, and we will drop, and we're going to go ahead and look at the previous cycle in Bitcoin. So in the big picture, you guys, we are actually repeating the exact same market cycle that we saw between 2013 and 2014. Now, it's very, very clear to me that this is the fractal. This is the chart that is very, very important to be watching, because this is what's suggesting the most similarities to the price action that we're actually seeing today. Now, what's actually interesting is this whole move inside of 2017, 2018 is actually a complete repeat of the move that we saw from 2013 into about the middle of 2013. This whole fractal, this whole market cycle down here is a repeat of the same market cycle that we saw in 2017. What does this mean? Well, you guys, markets are fractal in nature, and repeat these fractals in all time frames across all markets. So it does not matter if you're trading stocks. It does not matter if you're trading cryptocurrency. It does not matter if you're trading commodities. All of these markets are fractal in nature and repeat across all time frames. So the fact that this is between 2017 to 2021, well, this was only 2013 to 2014. This is roughly a 2-year period from the beginning of this cycle to that cycle, whereas this cycle is from 2017 till 2021. There's a much larger time frame, yet the fractal is the same. The repeating human emotion is the same. And the reason this happens is because of human emotion. Human emotion never changes. We are emotional creatures. We have a biological predisposition to the way that we think, to the way that we see things. And because of this, if you understand that, you can profit greatly. Now, that does not mean that fractals are 100% the same. You have to remember that fractals rhyme in nature. They are similar in nature. They are not identical. They can be identical. I have seen certain fractals that are nearly identical or so close that you could pretty much call it identical, but they are usually not 100% the same. They're usually 75, 80% the same. So if we're looking at the similarities between these 2 charts right here, you can see how similar this panic right here was to this little wick right here. That volume spike, everybody got real scared right before the moon. You can see how similar this cycle up was to this cycle up right here. So there is so many similarities. It is true, but I mean, there's differences as well. You can see how this panic right here was slightly different than this area right here. Slightly. It's not drastically different, but it is slightly different looking than this area right here. They are very, very similar, but it is slightly different. So you just have to remember that. However, you guys, what's actually interesting in the price action that we are currently seeing, you guys, we have this little panic right here after we broke the all-time high, which actually coincides with this little panic right here. Then we have this bigger panic right here, which is coinciding with this area right here, which is why I'm personally watching that 618 level, because downside is still possible. We could still have, see how big of a wick that was? Prices came back down almost to the previous all-time high in a massive panic before the market continued to see upside, which was actually a 49% drop in value, guys. That's a really big correction inside of a bull market. Very rare, but very possible. Very possible, especially since we are seeing the same fractal of human emotion in this area. So that's why I'm watching the 618 level, you guys, because if we get above that, this panic is probably over. We're going to keep shooting higher. If we don't, there's still a lot of downside risk. There really is. You have to watch your Fibonacci levels. You have to understand your Elliott wave theory rules, and you have to understand the algorithms so you can out-trade the algorithmic traders, because those bots and those AIs are way smarter than you unless you understand how they were programmed. And I've researched these things. And they short the 618 and the 50% level because that's based on Elliott wave Fibonacci relationships. So you guys, what does this fractal actually suggest to us for the big picture price action? Because like I said, you guys, even though I've been taking profits in this range, I still have a big chunk of money inside of the market currently riding this big picture profit, this big picture gain, because there's still so much upside left inside of the market. If this fractal follows very similarly, very perfectly to the previous fractal, we can take our Fibonacci extension tool. We can measure from the low to the peak of the previous cycle, and then we can get those lows met right here, and we can pull down a little bit. And then we can add another tool because we see the 4618 is above that level. So let's add a 236. That's the level I'm thinking of. All right, so 4236 is basically a perfect relationship to the previous all-time high. So all that I did, you guys, was I measured from the previous all-time low to the previous all-time peak back down to the next all-time low, the relative all-time low before this cycle started. And that was with the Fibonacci extension, trend-based extension tool. I then added an additional level by double-clicking on it, which is the 4236, which is in perfect alignment to the previous peak of this Bitcoin cycle. You guys, these Fibonacci tools are also adjustable in the way that they look. By simply clicking on it, I click use one color. I remove the backgrounds because, in my opinion, these backgrounds really get in the way of what you're trying to see. And I like to use the dotted lines because then I have a lot of visual room left in the screen for me to see the chart. So you guys, let's go ahead and take this tool. We'll do the same exact thing, measure from all-time low to all-time high and back down to all-time low. Now, you guys, this would suggest that a local high could be near 90 to 100,000 per Bitcoin. Now, it is possible that we overshoot this level, but for me personally, I will be reducing more risk again in this level. So there's a lot of room left on the upside inside of this cycle, you guys. We have a lot of upside left. It would not surprise me at all if we do overshoot the Fibonacci relationships, if we do get above the 236 and the 4618, but that is a healthy zone to be watching with a high probability that we will reach that level. Personally, the market structure does look like it will overshoot that level. It will probably go a little bit more parabolic than it did in this area. There's a few reasons for that. So in order to extend our targets, I'm not going to be taking all of my money out, definitely not, but I will be reducing some risk at those levels. In order to extend our targets, we need to add more Fibonacci levels. So I'm going to add a 5.618. The reason we use these levels, you guys, is because a 6.618 and a 7.618. And these will be additional targets for Bitcoin on the upside. These levels would suggest that we go up to 1,100 and up to 13, or let's see, that's not 1,100. That's 111,000, 135,000, and 155,000. And you guys, in this area, I continue to reduce my risk, but I also keep money in the market. Why? Because you always let your winners ride. Markets often go higher than you expect them to go, just like they go lower than you maybe initially expect them to go. This is why we ladder into panic. We continue to accumulate panic, and then we ladder out of FOMO, so we keep a percentage in the market to let it ride. So if it continues, if for some reason this cycle is absolutely crazy, and we go to like the 11,618 and reach 230,000 per Bitcoin, or even 250,000 per Bitcoin at like the 12618. You guys, that is possible. We can extend beyond these levels. It doesn't have to stop at the 4618 and the 4236. Markets are fractal in nature. Yes, they rhyme. That means that it can extend past the exact point that this one reversed. But there will be a reversal at some point. It's not going to FOMO forever. People will think that there's a new paradigm in thinking. They will think that it's going to go up forever. There's going to be tons of people that buy the top. There's going to be people that pull out second mortgages on their homes, and they're going to get wrecked. They're going to buy too high, and then there will be a correction afterwards, just like we saw a correction in 2018. I promise you, what goes up must come down inside of markets. That is just the fact. There's gravity inside of markets because of human emotion. So you guys, this is what I'm personally watching in Bitcoin. Like I said, very reasonable, very short term. Very high probability targets are between 90 and 100,000 per coin. And then after that, we get more of the extended targets, which I do think are very highly possible that we actually reach this cycle. But overall, you guys, it will be smart to begin reducing risk as we start to go parabolic in this area, because whenever we do actually find the top of this market, whenever the parabolic action is actually over, we will see another ABC correction in the same way that we saw a big ABC correction in the last cycle. And then Bitcoin will need to recover in order to see further upside from there. So that's what I'm personally seeing in the market, you guys. This is my big picture analysis on Bitcoin. It really is incredible that we have so much potential upside left inside of the market, that we're still so early inside of this cycle, that we still have so much profit to be had inside of the altcoin markets, so much profit to be had inside of the Bitcoin markets. You guys, we are truly blessed to be part of this market cycle. We're truly blessed to be investing in Bitcoin in 2021 and preparing for upside continuation. That's my update in the big picture, you guys. Like I said, watch that 618 in the smaller time frames, but this baby is not over. This bad boy is not done going up in the big picture. So whatever happens in the short term happens. We'll play based on what happens. But in the big picture, the name of the game is continuation. We will see continuation of this market cycle, and it will blow everybody away. It will completely amaze people what happens, and it will correct. It will see a top at some point. It just is the nature of cycles. It is the nature of human emotion, the nature of markets. So that's my video for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Make sure that you rewatch this one. Make sure that you take notes on everything that I've been talking about. I've been super excited to talk about the big picture analysis in Bitcoin, because that is what my channel is generally talking about for the most part. Although I do see short-term opportunities like we saw when Bitcoin was topping out recently. But the big picture is really where the biggest profit is made, and that's what I'm personally investing in. You guys, go ahead and share this video with your friends if you liked it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Make sure that you guys check out the Discord. Links are in the description, as well as following me on Twitter. And also, you guys, check out the VIP. I've been getting a lot of new members, a lot of people sharing their testimonials with me, people that are outperforming the markets, people that are making literally millions of dollars inside of cryptocurrency, investing inside of these markets. There's a ton of profit to be had inside of the VIP group, and I firmly believe that it can change your life. So make sure that you guys check out the VIP group. Nothing is guaranteed in the markets, you guys. This is my personal investing, my personal trading plan, but I can share with you guys what I'm doing. This is not financial advice. This is what I'm personally doing. You guys can make your trading decisions based on that. And as well, you know, my kind of philosophy is to teach you guys how to fish so you guys can fish on your own. Although I will share with you guys what I'm personally doing, which is basically giving you a fish anyways. So thank you guys for tuning in today's video. Share it with your friends. I really appreciate all of the new subscribers, all the VIP members, everybody on my Twitter that follows me, everybody on my Discord, even if you're a free member in there. Huge shout out to you guys. I genuinely appreciate every single one of you guys. And as always, stay profitable out there.